everyone and welcome to this video, which is going to be all around potty training tips. No lie, as soon as I got my son into potty training, so that started at the age of 2, so literally his birthday, he ended up pooping in the potty straight away. So no lie, next day he was like, right, I get it. But we'll talk about that in a second. I just wanted to say a disclaimer that yes, he got the poopies straight away. When it came to wee-wees, that took a lot longer. Actually, that took months. And what I want to say here is, like, take your time. Don't be in a rush here. We're all trying to train our kids to use the potty, to use the loo, so that's easier. And it's a lifetime skill, right? But ultimately you are doing the best you can. Try not to rush these things. A lot of the time parents say wait until they're 2 years and 8 months as well, so perhaps 2 years was actually too early to start, but who knows? Do what's right for you. And let's talk about the things that actually kids show when they're ready to be potty trained as well. So it's not only about us and what we want, but also what our kids want and if they even want to wear nappy anymore. So let's talk about that and then all the potty training tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you today. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really means the world to me. I actually do these in my spare time. I work full time as well. I have a 2-year-old toddler. I have a big dog who is just like a child. But we've also moved into a new house, so it's literally been like renovation central over here, and I'm doing loads of makeovers. I've got lots of exciting things planned for you guys, and I'm very much excited to be sharing with you today's video too. And let's get to it. There are often lots of signs that kids show when they're ready to be potty trained. Firstly, one of them is when they no longer want to use a nappy. If they find it uncomfortable, they don't want to be wearing a nappy because maybe it's too hot depending on the weather. And basically overall they also see adults going to the bathroom, which we'll talk about in a second anyway. So I guess there is just like part of their inquisitiveness, part of development, basically realizing that not everybody wears nappies, so why should they? And I have a friend who said exactly that. She has 2 sons, and her first one literally woke up one day and said, I don't want to be wearing nappies anymore, and ended up sort of potty training himself in the sense that he was very determined, very motivated. He no longer wants to wear these nappies. Another way that you know that kids want to be potty trained, and that is when they see their parents or their guardian or even siblings and stuff go into the bathroom and try and investigate, like, what are they doing in there? Get interested in that and sort of try it out as well for themselves. So that would actually be my point number 1. In our house, naturally, we just don't close the door either, and as a mum you would know that kids follow you in there whether you like it or not. So oftentimes my son will see me going onto the toilet and going onto the potty. So basically that's a great way to get them started and get them interested in going to the toilet like everybody else. So I think if you have a bigger family, if you've got other kids especially who are older, maybe that's something to encourage rather than discourage. So in terms of opening the doors and making sure that they can see what they're doing. And from a baby boy's point of view, I also thought that it was really important that he saw his daddy going to the toilet standing up. So I think that's interesting that they need to know that there's also both ways that they can go to the potty too. So that would be the number 1 thing. That would be an open door policy if you can for the toilet, so that they can see what is happening and potentially also get excited about it and interested and then want to do it themselves. So the number 1 thing that actually helped us from the very beginning was the potty training book. I got this from Amazon, so I'll make sure to link that down below, but honestly it was like poof, like mind-blowing. As soon as my son read the book and realized that actually you put the poopies in the potty, then he started going to the potty for number 2s straight away. And that I couldn't quite believe it. I honestly thought that it would be the other way around, that wee-wees would come naturally and quicker, but actually it was the other way around. He got poopy straight away, and then the wee-wees actually took us months to get properly. What I'm saying is use these books to read them and educate them, understand them together and go through them. And what I liked about this book as well is that it had like a little hurrah, little like button that you press and then the noise comes out. So he would love to press that and would constantly do that. And I would also take the book with us when he would go to the potty and press the button to like congratulate him for doing that as well. The book that we got is actually the boys version, but they also do a girls version as well. So no matter what book you choose, I think it's really useful and really helped us on our journey from the very beginning. So I'd recommend that to you guys as well. Another thing that helped us along, especially when it came to wee-wees and getting him to understand the feeling down there to go to wee-wee, and that is either having little sweeties or stickers to basically encourage him to go to the potty. So he knows that each time he goes to the potty he now gets some sweeties. So basically we started off with trying out some Smarties, but actually he didn't end up being like a chocolate boy, so we ended up getting like small little like Haribos or little sweets like that so that he can have those. And I literally tried to limit that very much so, because sometimes he would go just for the sweeties, but actually I feel like that really has worked and helped encourage him to think about it and be like, oh okay, I need to go, because if I go I'll also get some sweeties, and like an encouragement as well that way. So it's an extra little way to get them to start potty training and understand that feeling down there that's happening. At the very beginning I bought some really cheap and cheerful pants, knowing that they're just going to be weed on and we can like dispose of them later. However, we got to a point where we actually started potty training seriously, because like I thought it was a little bit, he was a little bit too young at the age of 2 basically. So like a couple of months later I thought, you know what, let's get him some pants that he will really get excited about. So we ended up having a look on Amazon for like something more vibrant, so better quality, better colours, and even character pants really worked well. And I thought it was actually so much fun just shopping with my son on my phone, which I've never done before. So my next tip for potty training is basically put the potty on hard flooring, hard surfaces, flooring that is really easy to clean, because look, we all have accidents, especially if you're a boy mum, you'll know that basically it goes everywhere, especially when you're teaching them to stand up and go. Actually, that brings me to another point, and something that I've learned from Emily Norris from her YouTube channel. She's got 3 boys, and she basically recommended having like the Cheerio trick, where you put the Cheerio in like the potty or the toilet and get them to aim for that. So basically they aim standing up, and basically they're more likely to get the wee into the toilet and the potty, and basically it's just a way to get them trained up to learn to go one way. The other thing she recommended actually, and something that we've not tried, so something that you guys can try if it's good for you, but basically where they sit in the potty, or sorry, on the toilet the other way around, and then you can do like a little like chalkboard. You can get like sticky paper that's actually a chalkboard, or like the blackboard, and get some chalk as well. So the sticky paper goes onto the back of the toilet seat, and then like on the inside, so that when they're sitting backwards they can start drawing on it whilst going to the loo as well. So making that like a fun process. On similar sort of lines, my friend actually made potty time screen time. So if that's something that is motivating your child, so for example mine was sweeties, for you guys it could be screen time. So that's something worth thinking about if you wanted to get the screen out, to make sure that that is the only time they get the screen and they actually want to watch it. It's like encouraging them to go to the potty, because then they'd get to watch their favourite thing on YouTube, for example. Moving on to the next tip, and something that worked really well for us during the summer, probably unintentionally as well, and that's basically putting their feet or their hands in either like something like a something wet, something cold, to encourage them to go to the loo. So for example, my son would go to the garden, and because it's we have some mild weather in the UK, during the nights it does get kind of cold. The grass is usually quite wet and dewy and quite cold as well, so then he'd want to go toilet. And then we've had a few accidents where he'd go wee just on the grass there, but basically that's a good way to get them to want to go to the toilet and help them understand that feeling that they're going through in order to go to the potty. Also a great way if you are about to go on a longer journey in the car, for example, don't want to put their potty on and you're desperately trying for them to go to the toilet. That's a good way to do it. The other way is basically putting hands in like a bucket full of like warm water. Apparently that works. A skill that I have perfected for potty training is nagging them without nagging them. So try not to nag them about going to the potty. So try not to be like, do you need to go to the potty? Do you need to go to the toilet? I changed that up a bit. I basically said, you tell me when you need to go to the toilet. So instead of nagging them about going to the toilet, I'd nag them about reminding me, or like voicing the fact that they need to go. So hopefully I thought it encouraged him a bit better to actually understand that feeling and then voice his feeling to say, I need to go to the potty. I'd say a couple of things. So firstly, he would have to tell me whether he needs to go to the potty. So I would be like, okay, so you tell mummy when you need to go to the potty, okay? And then the second one was, what do you say when you need to go to the potty? So either one of those is about like voicing and expressing the feeling that they get, rather than you need to go to the potty, do you need to go to the potty? So rather than nagging them that way, it's more about understanding or getting them to be aware and understand what their feeling is about going to the potty and whether they need to do that. Something that has literally been a lifesaver, and I cannot recommend this enough, and that is a travel potty. So we got a travel potty because we go on dog walks a lot. So we'd go to the woods, we'd go to the park, literally every day, whether it's raining, whether it's cold, whether it's not, like literally we have to go because we've got a huge dog. It's also great to get out the house, and I feel mentally a lot better when I get out. Anyway, that means we're out of the house quite a lot, and that means we needed a travel potty which worked for us. And this one, I got this one from Amazon, so I'll link that down below, but basically it twists and then it like compacts so that I can put it into my backpack and take it out into the playgrounds if I have to. So he would basically go into the travel potty, and still is going, so because he can't hold it in for a long time, I also found it perfect for going to the shops. So we went to B&Q the other day, and that was a really great way to have something like a backup when there are no toilets. Basically, when you can't guarantee a toilet, especially nearby, I found travel potties to be magnificent. So another tip for potty training, and that's usually around footwear. So in the summer, obviously they can go barefoot or have like sandals on, but like I do recommend some Crocs around the house or something waterproof. That's because if they have any accidents or spillages, so at the very beginning we would literally take everything off, like bottom downwards, to make sure that it's easier for him to get onto the potty and to make sure that there's no spillages around the vicinity. So by having some waterproof footwear, just make sure that it's as easy as possible for you and less disgusting. So basically a lot more pleasant experience for the parent as well as the child. So you guys, if you've seen my videos before, I do loads of videos on cloth nappies, and therefore I had to mention something in this one as well. So this is something that we do. We still use nighttime nappies throughout the night, but also started using pull-ups for nighttime nappies. So that's a way to get them to start potty training during the night, and I'm sure I'll do a video solely on that one very soon. But basically they do say around the 3 to 4 age mark is perfect to get them to train, to basically not wee in bed. But I found personally pull-ups are a great way to encourage him to start even thinking about that process. I know it's quite early, so we're not in a rush or anything, but basically pull-ups can give you the versatility that you need. I can add as many inserts or fewer inserts as I need to. I can usually tell how much he might need to go during the night by A, what time he goes to bed, because the later it is, the less time he would need the nappy on, and B, it depends how much water and milk he's had just before bedtime as well, because the more he has, the more likely he's to wee overnight. So by having pull-ups, I can then add the right amount of inserts that's right for me. If you wanted to find out more about cloth nappies or anything, I'll make sure to link a video or two down below. I've got plenty of those so that you can find more about them. My biggest tip for potty training, and the one that I'm going to end with, is the fact that if you're going to potty train, you either do it or you don't. So what I mean by that, this is something that I've learned from my own experience. So as I said, he managed to poo into the potty straight away, so fantastic. But when it came to wheeze, it was a lot more complicated. It took months, so the whole of summer pretty much. Then the new preschool set us back a little bit, which wasn't great. But now that we are potty trained, I can tell you this. Basically, I was confusing my son, probably the preschool as well, and myself, by like putting him into cloth nappies one day here in the morning or in the evening. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going into the car, we're going to have a long car journey, so I'm going to put a nappy on him there as well. So by having him in a cloth nappy for at least an hour or 2 hours a day, that confused him and thought, oh, actually I can go in my pants again, so in my nappy again. So why would I bother understanding that feeling about going? Basically, as soon as we decided, or I decided to say, look, that's it, no matter what, no matter the spillages, the accidents, the soilage, the soiledness that we're going to have throughout the house, in the car, in preschool, doesn't matter how many clothes he's going to go through, we're just not going to use any cloth nappies during the day. And I found that basically a few days later, even wheeze, so he was potty trained fully. It was just like, right, I understand, no more nappies, therefore I need to go to the potty, need to tell mummy that I'm going to the potty. And that is my number one tip, the fact that it's all or nothing, people. Let's do this. If you're gonna do it, be brave, you can do it. Basically, that is it. I really hope that you enjoyed it, that it was really useful tips for you guys. I hope that it helps you on your journeys for potty training. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to find out more about your experience. I'd love to know your journeys as well. If you're going through this with your child now, I'd love to find out like what you're currently doing and what you're going to change. And also if you've got any tips that I've not mentioned, I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time. Bye guys.